In this episode of the Courageous Public Health Podcast, Dr. Avalon Adams-Thames reflects on what it means to keep showing up through grief, responsibility, leadership, and systems that do not always make space for your full voice. From losing family members whose experiences shaped her path into public health, to navigating professional spaces where she was expected to shrink herself, remain silent, or make her expertise less visible, Dr. Adams-Thames shares the emotional weight so many women quietly carry while continuing to lead. This conversation explores courage, caregiving, visibility, and survival, and what it takes to reclaim your voice after learning to stay small. You're listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast, episode 62. To all the courageous women leading in public health, this podcast is your space to turn up the volume on your courage. This space centers your voice. This space celebrates your passion. This space amplifies your courage. My role? To listen, to amplify, and to stand with you in the fight for equity. My name is Dr. Christy McClamrock. I am an epidemiologist, consultant, the founder and CEO of Courageous Public Health, and the host of the Courageous Public Health Podcast. Each week, I have real, unfiltered conversations with women in public health about the challenges you face, the power you hold, and your vision for the future. We talk about the authenticity, vulnerability, and courage that you bring, not just to public health, but to every part of your lives. Because courage is about action, even in fear. It's about taking up space, leading unapologetically, refusing to be erased, and knowing you never have to do it alone. If you're ready to turn up the volume on your courage, if you're ready to take up space, if you're ready to smash the racist, patriarchal, cisnormative, heteronormative, ableist, capitalistic systems, then listen to this new episode. Hi there. Welcome to the Courageous Public Health Podcast. I am Dr. Christy McClamrock. One of the things these conversations continue to reveal is that courage is often much quieter than people expect. Sometimes it looks like continuing to show up while carrying grief, responsibility, exhaustion, fear, and the weight of being needed by so many people at once. In public health, many women are navigating systems that ask them to shrink themselves, to stay silent, stay agreeable, stay invisible, even while carrying enormous expertise and responsibility. Through Courageous Public Health, I partner with organizations to support leaders navigating complexity, systems change, and high-stakes decision-making with greater clarity, sustainability, and alignment. Today's conversation explores what it means to continue leading while carrying so much, and what happens when you begin reclaiming your voice after years of learned silence. Dr. Avalon Adams-Thames is an epidemiologist, educator, and public health leader committed to advancing health equity, women's health, and community well-being. She's an assistant professor at the Institute of Public Health at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, where she teaches epidemiology and chronic disease courses while mentoring future public health leaders grounded in equity and service. With more than 15 years of experience across local, state, and federal public health systems, Dr. Adams-Thames has led work into overdose prevention, maternal and reproductive health, firearm injury prevention, chronic disease surveillance, and public health data modernization. She previously served as Florida's senior epidemiologist and surveillance lead for the Overdose Data to Action program, and later as a public health advisor and data modernization lead at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Grounded in community-centered and culturally responsive approaches, Dr. Adams-Thames is passionate about translating data into action, strengthening public health systems, and supporting healthier communities through education, mentorship, and service. Here's my conversation with Dr. Avalon Adams-Thames. Hi, everybody. I am here today with Dr. Avalon Adams-Thames. Welcome to the podcast, Avalon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you. I just want to start by telling our listeners that you and I met at APHA last year in, where was it again? what city were we at? DC. We're in DC. Right. And we were introduced by Dr. Erica Horn.
Yes.
Who we both are very fond of.
Yes. I love Erica.
Me too.
Dr. Horn.
Dr. Horn. Yes. So we want to definitely give a shout out to Dr. Erica Horn for the connection. And now
Absolutely.
Here you are on the podcast. I love that.
Yeah.
So let's start. I want to start by having you introduce yourself.
Thank you. And if I could just add before I introduce myself.
Please.
Again, I love Erica, Dr. Horn, and I didn't want to forget to say this about her. And I cannot say this about I shouldn't say this. I cannot say this about too many of my students or former students, alumni now. But Erica is such an inspiration. I will say this. And I realized that at APHA in DC. She is in everything. She is traveling everywhere. And I had to look at myself and say, what are you doing? But I just love Dr. Horn. And she is just such a help. And she's come back and she is helping our doctoral students and some of the MPH students here now on campus. So just love Erica, Dr. Horn. And so I did not want to forget to just throw that in there.
Absolutely. Every time I talk to her, I leave the conversation and I'm like, I need more Erica in my life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
I need more Erica in my life. That's all there is to it.
I know it.
Yeah. It's what was the movie with the line, you make me want to be a better person. I feel like there was, right? And this is like, you make me want to do more public health.
Yes. We got to put it on a shirt.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, we totally do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
so
back to what you asked.
Thank you for saying all of those things, because that needs to be said. And now let's talk about you. Introduce yourself.
Not just a little. So again, my name is Avalon Adams-Thames. I will start by saying professionally, I am an epidemiologist, an educator. I'll say it in that way. A mentor, just a public health professional. But before all of that, I'm a mother. I have 3 kids. If I say their ages, I might age myself. But I have 3 kids, and my baby is graduating high school on this Saturday.
Amazing.
I know. But I am mother, grandmother. I had to whisper that.
Oh my gosh.
That's my baby.
Yeah.
We're recording, so I will not say how I love her just a little bit more than my own. But I love her. But also a daughter, a granddaughter, a sister, cousin, niece, friend, all of that. And so when I introduce myself, I have to introduce it all. And why I feel the need to say all of that is because family is everything to me. And it guides why I do what I do. I feel like that is why I am in public health. Because growing up, I knew nothing about public health. It was like, I'm going to be a doctor, because that's kind of all we knew, right? A nurse, a doctor. And then graduated high school, I was going to be a nurse. Didn't get into nursing school. We're not going to get into that, though. But
their loss. It's their loss.
Thank you.
And our gain.
But it's because of a lot of the personal family experiences that I've gone through, loss, illness, just a lot of that, which I may or may not mention later. It has really shaped who I am, how I work, and it has put me on the path to public health, to say it in a shorter way. And not to put too much of myself out, but my brother had leukemia. We were very close. And losing him, in addition to the chronic conditions that many members of my family had, my aunt, I'm just telling you all the business, but my aunt, we were almost like sisters. the year that I defended, she was diagnosed with gallbladder cancer, and
Mm.
not even 3 months later, she passed. And then very recently, my first cousin was killed. He was shot to death in his front yard. And so, with all of that, and that's just not it, but a lot of that is why I do what I do in public health. I didn't want to be a hospital nurse. Not to down it, because I did go back to nursing school because of the knowledge.
Yeah.
But if I could do something to prevent
Yeah.
a lot of that or to educate others, that is what I wanted to do. I felt the calling for it. Um, so that's a part of me. I felt like I needed to say that. And so outside of that, I've had a number of opportunities to work across different spaces at the federal level, at the state level, at the county level, academia now, because I am an assistant professor at
Yes.
Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. And so I've done a lot of different things in public health, and that's another reason why I love it so much. And so I've done a lot of surveillance in a lot of different areas. Maternal and child health has been one space. Injury prevention has been another, and of course, due to personal reasons, I like to focus on substance use, firearm injuries, um, chronic conditions. So I worked on cancer projects, a few others. So I've dabbled in a lot. And at the federal level, I've worked, not sure if you've heard of infrastructure grant, but data modernization has been a space. And so funding had been allocated to build up the workforce, public health workforce, but also to strengthen our public health and data systems because it is needed across the many, many different I won't even say diseases, conditions, just anywhere we collect data, we
Yeah.
need to strengthen those areas. And so I've had an opportunity to dabble in many different spaces. And that's really why I love public health, because no day is really the same, even here on campus. So I know that was a long-winded introduction to myself, but that's just what it is.
That's a great introduction to yourself. And I see why all of those things like needed to be part of just your who are you, right? Those are all really important things. And I'm sorry for the losses that you experienced. And I also, I love that you can see how those losses led you to where you feel like you really want to and should and need to be. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I've heard that from people in public health so often. And I can see that in my own self, right? That it's like, I go back and look at, what my focus has been and where my attention has been. And it's like, oh, that's totally about my personal life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's totally about my personal life,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. Because that's where we get to bring our full selves into the work that we do. So thank you for that. So I want to get right to that first question. And you've already kind of hinted at some of the things that, the places where you've been courageous. So I love to frame courage, before we talk about it explicitly. So, courage it's a word that's often used interchangeably with bravery, but they're actually not the same. Bravery is taking action without fear, while courage is taking action despite fear. And so for me, and to me, I think that courage is where we really get to focus our attention. That's where I want to focus my attention. So yeah, I'd love to hear about some more of the experiences you've had both in your personal life, your professional life, where you've acted courageously.
That is a good one, because I never really thought of it in that way, whether it's professional or personally. It's like I just do.
Yes.
I've always been that way, and so professionally, I can think of I'll limit my examples because sometimes I can get long-winded. But I'll say for me, and I'll lump leading and teaching together. And I can use very recently in coming into my position here at the university, where I will say I teach. I won't say leading in this way, but in teaching, I find it in providing mentorship and yes, leading students. It's a lot, and it's no one way to do it. It's no handbook to do it. And one thing I'm kind of, I won't say struggling with. One thing I'm having to accept is how to balance the responsibilities, because we have our doctoral and master students who almost rely on us, like they call me my school kids. That's what they say to me.
Yes.
But it is a lot, and so I've come here with certain responsibilities, no structure, no guidance. Love my school, love my position, but it's about the students here. It's about teaching the material to where they get it. Because I'm like that. I come to class, I prepare my material, but I'm always like, is this good enough? Are they going to get it? Are they? Because I like to see a light bulb. I'm like that. And then we're in this place to where, what can we teach? What can we say? And public health is special right now.
Yep.
We have to almost not say certain things, but we still want to teach.
Say the things.
I know, we want to say it.
Say the things.
We want to say it. And especially here, and I'm trying to stick with the question because I'm bad at this. I talk about everything. But especially here on campus, I've had a lot of students in the past, I'll say past 12 months. They are panicking. What are we to do in public health? Is there a place for us in public health? And so now it puts me in this place because we still have a job to do. Therefore, I still have a job to do to teach them that job that they need to do. But I have to do it carefully because of where we are, especially in my state. I don't know if my state is your state, but we have to be very cautious of that. And so, again, it's just having those moments where, and every time I teach, I'm learning. I learn from my students. Whenever I support them, I constantly learn from that. And how can I do it better? So that is a lot. I don't know if we would define that. We would put that in the courageous bucket, but I will.
I mean, I think look, as someone who has also worked in academia and taught classes and had master's students and doctoral students, I think that solidly lands in the courage bucket. and caring about recognizing that you do have a responsibility and caring about those students, and that can be scary, right? That kind of responsibility can feel scary.
I know.
We take it seriously, right? Yeah.
Another one I also want to mention, and not to pivot too much, but I've held a few positions, I'll say at the federal and state level. And with the programs I were in, they sat in where they sat, they were very visible. And it put me in a position to where, and I can give a very detailed, I'm going to give an example, but I won't give too much detail.
Okay.
And so in one instance, I had to provide updates on overdoses across the state, across the 67 counties. And then overdoses that were coming to the emergency department, the fatal overdoses, how many times EMS were called, that breakdown.
Yeah.
And I was asked by leadership, do you think this has anything to do with the COVID vaccine? And it was just like, I saw where it was going. And so now, because most of the people around the table wanted to nod and be the yes man, but I could not do that. That is not what the data was saying. And so I had to take a step back and think about, first of all, what it is that they were wanting to hear, but what it is the data was really saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I had to explain the data systems explain the data, what it is not, and do it in a way that I had a job still.
Yeah.
It was tough, and that was at the state level, and then at the federal level, providing technical assistance to other states during the time where there were a lot of funding rescissions, during the time where we were in the middle of the measles outbreak. Just states were looking for information, for guidance, and it was not coming out of the federal government. So it also put us in a tricky position. How do we provide support? How do we provide expertise, but still not be out of compliance at the federal level? So it's just a lot. And again, that is where we are in public health. But I still had a job to do. We still had a job to do. I'm sweating just thinking about it.
That is understandable.
uh, yes, yes. But I miss it. I miss my people across the country, because I work with people across the country, and to know the important work that they were doing. I truly miss it, and we'll get back to where we were. We still have jobs to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I appreciate you saying that, you still needed a job to come back to. And that's a real risk of speaking out, right? I mean, people do lose their jobs for
They
that. So that's real. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Any other examples you want to share?
Yes, I can back away from the professional examples. Don't want to get in hot water.
I know. I'm like, I know you have more.
Just a couple more. We don't have all day. But personally, I will say, and not to get too personal, and then I get too personal.
And it's not. There's no too personal. It's what you choose. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I will say, as I again think through courage, and I know I mentioned just the loss that my family experienced. And it was my brother that was hard. It was hard because, let me give you a little backstory. I was 9 months pregnant, and I knew this baby because I already had two boys, and she was a girl, but I saw it as a sign. I believe in signs. And I was going to donate my placenta, and because he needed a stem cell transplant. He had leukemia.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is why she is here. I did all the paperwork for them to discard. Actually, I did that with my second baby. And so with the third one came around, I said, this is a sign.
Yeah.
This will be what saves my brother. But instead, he didn't make it. And so it's maybe a few days before that he did not make it. And so I realized why she was here. We needed that. But it was hard, and I did not see how we would continue. But we did. We moved forward. We continued. But it was just it just kept it just was one thing after another. The following year, my grandma passed.
Oh, yeah.
Then I never forget, though, weeks before, she said, Avalon, you go be a doctor and figure out how to fix grandma. She was country. And I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so I continued my education, pursuing my doctorate in public health. And then I was so close to defending, and my aunt was diagnosed. And I never forget when she called, and she was trying to eat yogurt, and it was just the pain she experienced. So I did share with a nursing school. So I'm the person they will always call when it's something uncomfortable.
Yes.
So now I'm explaining to her, okay, we'll do this and go here. And turns out she had gallbladder cancer. And it was just like one thing after another after another. It was just so, it was heavy. It was heavy to continue. And I had 3 kids. So now I have to work, school, the kids.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but I had to do it. And in addition to that, I had to continue providing mentorship to others. And mentorship is not only the students here, it's my younger siblings, it's my other family members, because they look at me. Even my parents went back to school because I
Ugh.
got an advanced degree, a couple of advanced degrees.
Oh, that
So
gives me chills. That's beautiful.
it was heavy. It
It's
was
heavy.
heavy.
Yeah. I can see why you said that you don't think of these things as courage. You think of them as like, I mean, that's what I have to do. I mean, of course you keep working. Of course you keep parenting. Of course you keep, supporting and being a leader. I mean, everything you're saying, I'm like, oh yeah, like you're the leader at home, and you're the leader in your family, and you're being a leader at work. And I think this is very common. Yeah. I think it's very common for women. I think it's also very, very common for women of color.
Absolutely.
You do what you're supposed to do.
You just have to go. And can I share this? I don't know
Please.
why I feel the need to want to share it. I think, and it was after my cousin, my first cousin, who was shot and killed in his front yard. My mind would not stop. I already had the issues, so my mind just goes. But after that, I could not sleep. I couldn't focus. And so I started candle making. That's crazy, but it's not, because I had to be intentional about how I could focus and slow down. And so I started candle making. It's 2 a.m, and I'm just stirring the wax, melting the wax down.
Yeah.
I had to measure the fragrance. And so it just allowed me to focus and slow down.
That makes so much sense.
To this day, I make candles. I got a few up here. But it helped.
Yeah.
Because otherwise my mind is just.
Yeah. And I mean, what you're talking about. I think what you're talking about is, finding your way through grief, right? I mean, and yeah, there are lots of ways that people get through grief. And I think it's great when people find, ways that create things like that, like beautiful scented candles that get to be like part of your self-care. And
I know it wasn't easy though, because I did feel lost, but I had to continue. I had to go to work. I got to feed the kids. I got to take them to school. I got to do this. So I found that to be just calming and helpful. And then I, gift the candles. And
yes.
And I also teach others how to make candles. And it's a science to it. So, I look at it in that way.
Oh, totally. That is science.
It is, yeah.
I would love that too. I mean, it's got all the things, right? It's like
right.
the senses, the science, the opportunity for generosity.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. I want to continue talking about courage, but maybe shift the way that we're thinking about courage. Because I think, it is about acting despite fear, but it's more than that, right? It's courage to me is about authenticity and claiming and expressing your power, and particularly in spaces that may not always welcome it. So I'd love to hear some more about how you feel like you're able to express and embody your courage in those types of spaces, and what's helped you do that.
In spaces that don't always welcome. That's a good question.
May I offer you a moment for us to just both take a really deep breath together? Okay. Yeah. Because it is a big question.
It is.
And you can take as much time as you need to think about how you want to answer it.
Could you ask it again? Let me think through
Absolutely.
this while you...
I can absolutely ask it again. So I think that courage is also about authenticity, being your full, true self, and claiming and expressing your power. And I think that, we often find ourselves in spaces where our full selves and our power are not always welcome, whether it's because we're women in primarily, male dominated, not primarily, because we're women in male dominated spaces, or if you're a Black woman and you're in spaces that are, white spaces of people who are white.
Right.
I think it's very easy to feel like that power that you have is not welcome. And so how do you show up even when it doesn't feel like your full self is welcome?
That is that's a good question. That's a big question.
It's a big question.
And I tend to not see how I want to say this. I've always been the type to just do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I normally wouldn't look at it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've reflected like, whoa, I'm the only person of color here, and I can offer input, and usually I am dismissed. I've been in a number of positions, again at the state level and at the federal level. At the federal level, never would my credentials be acknowledged. In fact, I had been told to remove them from my signature block. I was like, what? And it turns out most of the leadership had less education than I did. And it was almost like I had to accept it, to almost dumb it down or create notes for my supervisor, or attend meetings off camera on mute and explain in a separate chat to my supervisor what this means. And it was very insulting. I did a lot at the federal level. I worked across centers to accomplish quite a bit. We created documents for states to use. We did work that had not been done. And the way it trickled back down to us is, you don't attend these meetings without us. And when you attend, you are on mute, you are quiet. So I'm on mute and I'm quiet. And then on my personal phone, I'm getting text messages asking, what does this mean? What should I say? How insulting.
That's so insulting.
But that was not the first time I experienced that at the state. It's just what it was. And unfortunately, it's just unfair to have to accept that. However, one instance, I was not invited to a meeting, and it was very clear who was doing the work and who wasn't. It did not change behaviors, though. So I had to, fortunately, I think because I am who I am, I know my worth. But I also, no matter the position at state level and federal level, I found myself having to uplift others who were done in similar ways. I think because I had gotten so used to dealing with this, prime example, when I moved here to where I am, and I was in the doctoral program, but I was also working with the state. I think I was walking to the office and someone assumed that I was the administrative assistant. Nothing wrong with our admins. They are essential to what needs to be done. However, for you to assume and dismiss me, it was just like, whoa, how insulting. But I got used to it. And I just put in my mind, this is a stepping stone. So I got used to that. But not everybody can work that way. And so I found myself in a position to have to uplift others who couldn't work through that kind of tense atmosphere, state level and federal level. Not fair, and it's not fair for us to have to accept that. But that's what it was. That's what it is, unfortunately.
I'm a little speechless at the idea that you would be asked to remove your credentials from your signature line. Like, I'm so glad, Avalon, that before we hit record, I was like, do you want to add anything to what appears below your image, your name? And you added Dr. So it says Dr. Avalon Adams-Thames.
I never do it. And I think it's a habit.
Well, you've been told to take it out. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's, so awesome. Now I'm excited that it's there for this interview. That is that you use the word insulting. Like, that's so insulting. It's so insulting to be told. I mean, literally, for someone to say, mute yourself. I mean, I can't think of a better way to show someone being told to be small. Like, don't be your full self. Oh my God, collapse, be small, be silent. I mean, and then, it's like the next step is you don't even get invited to the meetings. And yet you're still expected to translate, teach. I'm so sorry. That is beyond insulting. That's wrong. It's wrong.
I have to almost retrain myself because now I'm here.
Yep.
It's almost like a habit. I'm on mute. I have my camera on because most of the time we do, but I'm generally on mute unless I'm asked a question.
Yep.
And I feel that's a learned behavior.
Yep.
And so there are times where I'll just like speak up and say this. And I'm usually like, my supervisor will say, "Oh, I'm so glad you said this." And I'm just like, okay, I'm not used to that. But that's how it should be. But that's not what had been in other places. So
and I think it's really important to like not judge ourselves when we learn the patterns that have been intentionally taught to us, right? I mean, those systems within the state and federal government. I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm so sorry that we accidentally said this thing. It may not be conscious at an individual level, but at a systems level, that is intentional. That is what systems of oppression do. That's what they do. And so to also have grace for yourself that it's like, I mean, I completely understand why you would not claim your credentials on a regular basis. And also, maybe after we've had this conversation, maybe there's an opportunity for you to claim that more often. Oh, this is a powerful one. This is a powerful interview. Let's switch gears.
Okay.
Because I really want to hear about what your vision is moving forward. And, vision in the most expansive way to think about it. Vision for public health, vision for women in your community, vision for yourself as all of the right? Like vision for self as all of the ways that you introduced yourself and defined yourself back in the beginning. What's your vision, Avalon?
And it's a vision. So I will say my vision. And I always got a little backstory to something. I'm just a mess.
You're not a mess at all. Girl, backstory,
oh,
heck yeah. Bring it.
So I will say that I never, from graduating high school, going through college, even graduating with my DRPH, I never thought academia would be a part of it. I never did. And so I graduated, continued with my applied public health work. And it was back in 2018, when they had those rifts at the federal level.
Yep.
I needed something part-time, and I picked up an adjunct position at a school in Bryan. It's in Arizona, the school name. I said it, and I shouldn't have said it, but it's okay.
Editors, you can just take that part out. Thank you.
And there was nothing wrong with the school. I did like the school, and that's when I kind of started to dabble in teaching at the university. And at first, I thought it was a joke because she reached out to me, the director, and she said, "Can you complete this assessment?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" And she said, "Complete the assessment." I completed it, and it was for billing and coding. That was the program. And I was like, "Nah, that's not what I do." She said, "We need someone to teach data analytics." And I said, "Oh, okay, I can do that." And it was really about Excel. And I'll never forget one of my first students. She was like, "Oh, Dr. Avalon, I hate Excel." And I was like, "That's because you don't know it."
Yes.
And so we got into just learning the basics, and then we kicked it up a notch. And then we integrated Power BI. Whoo, they were on to something. And then the director looked at my CV and she's like, "Whoa, can you teach medical terminology?" And I was like, "Okay." So I added that. Then she added like 10 classes to my load. And I realized that I like teaching. I like it. I actually love teaching. And so after 4 years of that, there's an opening here at the university that I graduated from. And at first I was like, do I want to go back? I know assistant professors, there's a possibility for burnout. There's just a lot expected. And so I kind of ignored it. And I saw the advertisement. I told you I believe in signs. And so I saw the position like 3 or 4 times. And I said, okay, I'll apply. I applied, heard nothing for the longest. So I was like, okay, it's not for me. And then I heard something. So long story short, I applied, interviewed, big interview, long interview process. And I'm here. And I would not change it. I love teaching. I love working with students. I love it. I'm in a position to where I can also do research. I'm still an epidemiologist.
Yes.
I'm in a position to where I can still do community service. This is what I want to do in public health. I can publish, I can travel to conferences, I can do all of that. I can still collaborate with state partners, DCF, DOH, all of them. And so this is where I want to be. Now, my vision is to continue, maybe at a higher level. I don't know exactly what that is, but I want to continue because where I am providing the mentorship, just teaching, doing the research. Yes, if I can contribute in improving our program so we can grow our program, yes. If I can do that by applying for funding and getting it, yes. But right now, that is my vision as I help my own children find themselves. that is my vision. And if I can collaborate with our federal partners, because we have a lot of work to do. As we see the disparities, it comes down to improving our systems, providing the education. It's just so many things I want to do and public health. And I think I'm in the space now to where we can do it. We just need to have the right partners, the right resources, and the people who want to truly help. And so I don't know my complete vision, but I know my vision is going that way. Include some of that.
Yeah, vision can also simply be like, it's this direction. It's not this direction, but it's this direction. Yeah, okay. Beautiful. That is vision. Agreed.
Okay. But I didn't say anything about me personally other than my kids.
Yeah.
So now that my baby is graduating high school, I also, because I've never traveled. I've never traveled. That means I've never taken them traveling. And so I would also like to just bring a little bit of that. I don't know if I want to say balance, just some of that, because it can't all just be work, 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 work.
Yes.
So I would like to go that direction and maybe travel, experience different things with my family, because my mom is also in that cycle. She works. And my grandma, I'm not going to give all the details, but, that middle generation where they're taking care of the parents and
yep.
trying to take care of the kids.
The sandwich generation. Yeah.
The sandwich generation. And so if I'm ever in a position to help my parents, I would like to also do that.
Yeah.
Huge vision over here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The bigger the vision, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Thank you.
It's funny when you're talking about being an educator and being a leader. And I'm like, that's kind of what being a mom is all about.
It is.
Right? What do we do if not educate our children and be a leader for our children and in our families? So that makes so much sense to me.
But it's not easy.
Oh, it's not easy at all.
I didn't say this, but my oldest is 26. And it's my gray hairs, my 26-year-old. But it is also stressful raising, never mind 3 kids, but 2 boys.
Yeah.
My middle son is just left for the Navy. That's another stress. I'm happy that he chose it, but right now with where we are, I'm nervous. Every day, am I going to get the call that he had to go?
Yep.
And then with my oldest son, just being a Black man right now with where we are, and me, it's only so much I can do, only so much I can give him. But honestly, it's stressful to me when the phone rings and I don't know where he is. It's just like I'm holding my breath, and that is stressful. And so again, it goes back to, why do I do what I do? And if I could, in doing what I do, if I could improve things with them, for them, that's what I should do. But I'm also reminding myself that I've been a good example for them. So now their mistakes are theirs. I have to intentionally tell myself that, because I used to feel like every time they make a mistake, that's bad on me. Now I have to know I've done all I can do. They have to own their mistakes.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And you get to, the idea of like traveling with potentially with these other generations of women in your family. That sounds so nice. And now I'm like, I want you to get to travel somewhere where you learn about like other ways of candle making.
Oh, that would be so nice.
That would be so good. You'd be like, well, now I know how, they make candles in this country.
Oh, that is it. You got it.
Oh, wow. Avalon, thank you so much for being here. And I am really struck by your vulnerability and your honesty and your authenticity. Again, not surprised because Erica recommended you for the podcast. So I'm like, yeah. I knew that you know,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
we
so
needed to
much.
have you here. So before we stop, I want to make sure that our listeners know how to connect with you. What is the best way to do that?
I am on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So that's a great way to connect with me.
Okay.
And my name is my name.
Yep. And we'll put the link for LinkedIn. It always feels so weird to say the link for LinkedIn. We'll put the link for LinkedIn in the show notes so that it's easy for people to do that. Great. Well, I look forward to staying connected to you.
Can I say thank you for inviting me? I feel like
you're so welcome.
I needed this conversation. I feel lighter. And so I appreciate you and I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I will definitely see you at the next APHA.
Oh, you will? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Sometimes courage is continuing to show up while carrying more than anyone realizes. Sometimes courage is holding onto your voice even after systems have taught you to stay quiet. Sometimes courage is making space for grief, healing, creativity, and care while still leading others through uncertainty. Dr. Avalon Adams-Thames reminds us that many women in public health are carrying enormous emotional weight while continuing to teach, mentor, parent, lead, and serve their communities every day. If this conversation stayed with you, if it made you think differently about leadership, visibility, grief, or the cost of constantly shrinking yourself, this is exactly the work we do through Courageous Public Health. We partner with organizations to support leaders navigating complexity, systems change, and high-stakes decision-making with greater clarity, sustainability, and alignment. Because when people are supported in bringing their full expertise and humanity into the work, public health becomes more courageous, more honest, and more sustainable. If that resonates, I'd love to connect. Links are in the show notes. Until our next episode, stay courageous. Thank you for listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast. Visit courageouspublichealth.com to find the show notes for each episode and learn how to connect with us.